So I was doing a few things to this Jeep that I drive in the winter, and so far this brush guard that was only $200 off eBay and these headlights from Fleet Farm have been pretty good. But what I thought is, I really got to have a CB in this, and it's like, where do you mount it? I really didn't want one of those steely antennas, so I kind of came up with this idea here to kind of mount it off to the inside the light deal here. So I'll pull this off and we'll get a look at what I did. Pull this light out here, always a joy. Might have to take a moment here to pull this out. Oh. Chrysler products, I tell ya. So, anywho, just drill out of my seat. What I kind of did is I made this piece here, and then I simply just drilled holes through it and ran sheet metal screws into it, and it seems like it's holding pretty good. Now I'm going to actually make this out of thicker gauge. So I quit putting the sheet metal screws in. As you can see, it's got a little bend to it, and even with that spring, I have a feeling that that's not really going to fly, so I'll probably go with a little bit thicker gauge of steel. So you can see there's quite a difference there. So I did see that there's room to use it, so I think I will. Stronger is always better, but I think that's really going to work well. And when I run my wire, I'm going to make a notch in this here. I'm going to pop it out and make a notch in it and slip my cord through, and then slide my cord into the notch, and then I'm just going to use some gasket sealer on it, and it should be fine. And then I think what I'm going to do, come on honey, there we go. There's a hole here, and of course you can't see it. So anyway, there's this little cap here, and then wow, you really can't see it, but I'm going to run my cord out of that hole, and then I'll probably do the same with this. Just make a notch and then a hole in the middle, so it won't be like this cap's out, and then I'll just run it out in the inside of my vehicle. I guess you could run it under the paneling if you really wanted to, but that's more effort than it's worth. So anywho, that's kind of the idea, and I think it'll work well. So we'll check back here when I have this made out of the thicker gauge steel and I'm all done. So it should be good. So here's kind of what it looks like at the end here. When I finished, I had to make a little bit of a relief in the light housing for a lot of my sheet metal screws, but the housing's pretty thick, so it accepts a lot of change. All in all, the gap is relatively the same on both lights. The only difference is you can see this one here, and then you come over here, and there's this gap. But that'll look okay, because what's going to happen is this CB cable is going to come down, make a loop, and go right in there. So it's going to kind of hide that. So that's pretty much it. And you want to, I added washers to one side of my mount here so that my whip would come up straight. As you can see, I'm level, so that's as straight as she's going to get. So it won't look real stupid like coming up sideways. I've seen, well, it would have looked like that if I hadn't have added those washers. So I believe on earlier Jeeps they're more straight across and it'd be easier, but on these I had to move it over a little bit. So anyway, I'm going to take that and I'm going to paint it, and I'm going to go ahead and finish the install. But there you go, pretty much. So that's how I did it, and I think that's a kind of a little different, good looking way. Where's my piece here? There we go. So that's basically the piece that went in there. So we'll see if we can slide it in on this side. And that's really all it was. And all those holes were for my sheet metal screws. That basically, it just rides like that. But obviously that one over there is thicker gauge steel. You want to use thick enough gauge because you can see this one's a little bendy and this one pretty darn thick. It's not going to do much flexing. So anywho, there you have it.